Hello everyone, this is me, Sonic the Joke Gamer, and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Last time, we made a dastardly plan to go in. Well, we can with Misha. And this time it seems like a block, so let's see what's gonna happen. And remember, you have to take this job seriously. Too many people think you can just slack off, and that isn't important. That's a dangerous way of thinking. Definitely! You can't take it too seriously. If you aren't always thinking big, thinking positive, and if you show any sense of weakness, we will start to think you're incompetent, you know? And soon you won't be able to do anything because your power is going to be delegated up to others piece by piece. And you'll be left with nothing. That's what happened last time. So, remember, it may seem like an easy job, but a lot of carnage can happen in this room. And, out of it, dealing with the school staff too. Even trying to get a budget report from a class rep can be a fight to the death sometimes. Yes, kill or be killed. There are no friends in the pits, and you take no prisoners. Are you sure about this? Is this right? You don't seem excited enough. I have to make sure it's getting through properly. One more, with feeling. Oh wait, what? I am sorry! I'm sorry, Cole! I didn't even notice they were there. Then I tossed her hand like gesture for emphasis, visibly intimidating the two girls standing at attention in front of us. I think they all started because one of them asked if she wasn't taking her job too seriously. Do you understand? Do you understand? Pretend I'm shouting. Okay. The city council's so weird. Yes, sir. So? What are you guys talking to anyway? It's not weird. You have to think of it as part of a job. If you want, think of it like they are paying you with the right to use this great office. You want another lecture? No! You can go now. Like that, the the hour-long student council orientation is over. Personally, I thought it was about 50 minutes too long, and also found it funny that it incorporated a tour of a school that we have all been going to for a while. But I guess it didn't hurt. Hey, you have to make sure they know where everything is! I expect Shizune to fall back to a chair since she has been on edge all day, but she doesn't. She continues pacing the room restlessly. Still have a long way to go. Right now, they're a joke. Gotta make a student council out of them? Eh? What? They think they can be the new student council? They're so unfocused. You can really see their lack of experience. This was our best year yet, and I don't think they have what it takes to be our follow-up act. And I know there are more of them than those two girls. Where are they? They're like the heavily marketed but mediocre big budget, quickly paying sequel to the acclaimed low budget sleeper hit. So you mean security? So you mean like FNAF help wanted to security breach? Eventually, she does stop and sit down. Are you going to miss it? Obviously. I'd be happy if I didn't have to leave too. I like being the student council, even if it can be tiring too. Yeah, it's definitely tiring. Only because Shi-chan is always trying to do more than she has to. You're forgetting that if I did the bare minimum, we wouldn't do anything all year except hand out flyers, collect surveys, and plan the next student council election. So the next student council could sit around for another year of doing nothing. Asking me to let that happen? Don't be ridiculous. A student council like that, there wouldn't be any power to play around with. I'm just happy that even though I clearly need to write them harder, those two aren't bad. Not there yet, but the new student council should be in good hands. How can you tell? After the festival, they asked me if we could also organize a Halloween event, like a haunted house or something along those lines. They had a bunch of other ideas as well. Of course, my response was no. I had Misha tell them to do it themselves if they wanted it so badly. They were angry for some reason. Of course they'd be angry if you said that. Misha delivering the message wouldn't help. I was angry too. All of a sudden, they want so much. If they wanted a haunted house, a traditional style cafe, or a trip to the beach, or whatever other cliche thing, why didn't they try to organize it before? It was like they were taking advantage of me. I worked hard to organize those festivals, and in return they came to me with, that was nice, but could you do this now? How about doing this? It's what I really want. Chi-chan was wrong though. Right, they went to the student council so they could make it happen. I made them feel jealous and riled them up. That can be a kind of motivation too. The desire to do something great spreads, even if it's to show me up. They decided to take me up on the challenge nevertheless. I'm impressed. Well, for now. I would have to see how it plays out a little longer in order to know for sure. That's where Finn goes suddenly, which sends Misha almost bolting out of her seat. Interesting. I guess it is impossible to get used to. That's right, we were going to have a party to celebrate passing the vase to the new student council, weren't we? Why not have that now? Or at least plan it now and have it tomorrow. But they're not even in charge yet. In fact, that's the first thing you told them. You're not in charge yet. It seems premature. Misha, what do you think? I agree. It's too early. Plus, I don't think I could do it anyway. Sorry. In fact, I was going to leave right now. Why not? No comment. Come on, tell me. Well, okay. Way to not crack under pressure, Misha. I thought about it, and if I didn't want to go, I would say yes, usually. It's the kind of person I am. I really should stop doing that, and this is a good place to start, I think. If it's a celebration to say goodbye, I don't want it. It would be too sad. I want to do something else instead, and after all, He-chan, you, and She-chan will still be here tomorrow. It doesn't seem right. Besides, I have other school things I have to do today. I can't just drop them like that. We can't postpone it. No more goodbyes. She looks very firm as she says this. Aren't you going to go now, though? Oh, that's right! Okay, besides now. No too early goodbyes, okay? I get it. Okay, later! With that, it's just Shizune and me left alone in the student council room. As the sun sets. Sunset slowly changes to night as we sit in silence, both searching for something to say. Would it really be that bad? Yeah, I didn't think about it like that, but Misha's right. Party's set a mood, and it would be a sad one. A sad party doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun. Why would it be sad? Is it a trick question? I'm sure of it. Shizune's eyes pierce into mine, waiting for me to answer with the detached, analytical stare that I haven't seen in a while. But feels familiar anyway. Consider my answer carefully, but also what it means for her to ask me. It could be that Shizune finds it depressing as well. Or it could be that that she doesn't understand why anyone else would find it depressing. Both are equally possible. I had a thought that when you graduate, that's it. It's going to be the end of the student council. I was wondering if you had the same idea. Don't be stupid. I look forward to it. I won't be a student anymore, so the expectations are going to be completely different. People's expectations of me, and my expectations about everything else, seems exciting. As for the student council, it should be in good enough hands. I don't have anything to be sad about. I don't think you're being honest. You look upset about having to give the student council up not even a few weeks ago. It wasn't about leaving it to a bunch of newbies either. It was having to stop doing student council work at all. Unexpectedly, Shizune smiles. So you're not disagreeing? Then it doesn't make sense. Why would you want to have a party about it? I'm trying to get over it. Besides, goodbye celebrations are very important. People say the first step and the most crucial, but following it through and finishing cleanly are just as important, right? I guess that is true. Anyway, I don't consider it goodbye, but it's still an event. You still have to go through the proper motions. Are you going to? Aren't I going to what? Kiss me, of course. Is that the proper motions? It would be normal, wouldn't it? That's the natural thing to do. Said Eric decisively. If I don't, I'm sure my heart will explode. It used to immediately, so quickly that I don't even have time to enjoy it. Even though she was prepared for it, Shizune blushes a deep red. I feel a similar heat rising on my neck and cheeks. Oh god! I move in for another kiss, but as I do, she moves backwards at the same time, and impulsively jumps onto the cabinet behind her, alone in the total silence of the room. We just look at each other for a while. This time, I kiss her more deeply. Her lips are light and dry, and open a tiny bit. I'm only able to appreciate the sensation for a moment before Shizune starts kissing me back forcefully. Her bangs brush against my closed eyelids as I let myself sink deeper into the kiss. I can feel the shape of her body through her clothes, which only makes me hold Shizune tighter. It takes some effort for the both of us to draw back from each other. We're both blushing, both from the kiss and thoughts of what's to come. And I'm far from the only one breathing a little heavier. As Shizune is beginning to take my tie off, I start doing her blah. It takes a while to figure it out. I've never really thought about how our school blouses work before. Shizune's blouse is a little tight on her, and her arms get stuck for a moment because of it. I find myself peeling it off of her, although with the way she's trying to wriggle out of it at the same time, it isn't easy. The sight is a little comical. Ah! When Shizune's arms are freed, she slides out of her shirt, her skirt falling around her knees with it, after she unhinges it and works it off her legs. The only thing covering her now are her figure is curvaceous and taut, and the healthy color of her skin contrasts with the black of her, is a wonderful sight. So she gets the background of the moonlight through the window. She looks at my chest and works the buttons of my shirt one by one. The process is greatly slowed by my hands moving up and down her. It's a little amusing to play with her like this. Well, how much of this are we gonna see? Eventually, finally, my shirt falls to the ground. Shizune surprises me with me by quickly pulling me in a deep kiss without warning. I quickly return the gesture. Why are you bolder today than on the roof? Or in your room? Don't think of a good. In our room, we had a man. In our room, we had a Kenji. I don't think we would want to do it with Kenji in the room. I try to think of a good answer, but it isn't easy. How would I be able to respond to that even if I could? There's no way to, unless I were to say that bureaucracy really puts me in the mood. I should have been disposed of. Shizune moves on to my and I decide to help her undo it instead of answering a question. I don't think it would be much good at this point. It's not hard to get off and falls onto the ground with a metallic clunk. I move in for another kiss and begin to slide my hand up her side, but she suddenly lurches forward, making me stumble backwards. The stiff edge of the table behind me was the furthest thing from my mind, until I feel it stabbing into my lower back. I hadn't even noticed it was there. Makes me grab Shizune a little tighter as we fall back onto the surface of the table. Shrimp! Then so are you ready? Exhausted, I lean back against the desk and try to regain my breath before putting my clothes back on. I notice a dull, hot throbbing in my chest as I button my shirt back up. Puts a bad aftertaste on everything that just happened. I was kidding! Motherfucker! It was a lucky break that Risha couldn't be here, wasn't it? You're in a usually joking mood today. I wonder what she had to do. Shizune chases the air lazily with her finger and points to the door. Go see for yourself. Why don't you just tell me? It's more interesting if you see for yourself. Seeing is believing. Sure, clever. Maybe I will. What about you? Are you going to stay here all day? It's getting late. Feels like my last day as student council president. Maybe I'll sleep here tonight. It could be the last chance I have to sleep at my desk, like after a long day trying to meet a deadline. That's weird. I'll sleep in my bed. Sleeping sitting up is a skill. A very useful one. Right. The worst part is I have to censor her legs too. So that means that's gonna cover the text box. For a moment after I leave the room, I actually do consider seeing what Misha is up to. It's because Shizune made it sound so secretive, as if she were building a time machine or something. But in the end, I decided not to. Why not? The night air is pleasant at this time of year. It's refreshing and a little humid, but not so chilly as to make it uncomfortable to stay outside for a while. It's late though for the courtyard to be all but deserted too. Just as Shizune and I said our farewells to each other, I set out to return to my dormitory room. I didn't even make it all the way there, though, before getting distracted. Yeah, why am I freaking... It doesn't seem like a bad idea to go see what Misha's up to. I have nothing better to do. No homework, I'm out of anything worth reading. On top of that, I simply want to know. This is my first time being in the main building after hours, but usually it's as I'm leaving the place with Shizune and Misha after a long day at the student council, not entering it alone. The atmosphere is quiet, a word I would not normally use to describe these halls. It's a little creepy. A light started flickering up ahead. It seems like a horror movie moment waiting to happen. Putting a hand on my shoulder, I stiffen reflectively. It's not Misha, or else there would be hands clapped over my eyes and a sing-along "Guess who?" accompanying them. So who is it? I hope it's not Kenji. At least that is someone I know, or this will take a turn for the weird. Whoever it is quickly slips in front of me. It's Shizune. What are you doing here? I'm so relieved I forgot to sign it. Shizune puts a finger up to her lips. I guess even she can't hear. She has some idea of what loudness is. I can tell from my expression that I was being loud. Apparently, being loud isn't a good thing right now. But then, why is Misha her interpreter? Oh, very funny. Why are you here? I was waiting for you to come see. I knew you would show up. It took you a while, though. You've been waiting here? Yes, that isn't important. You have to be stealthily. If you don't want Misha to detect us, tell me if I'm not being stealthy enough, okay? Then Shizune starts slowly tiptoeing through the middle of the hallway. I pat on the shoulder to get her attention. That's not stealthy. Why do you have to be stealthy? She refuses to answer, probably because signing and walking stealthily at the same time doesn't look easy. Oh, I know it. We're in front of our homeroom. Suddenly, it sounds like a crack of whip pierces the air, followed by a familiar expression of frustration. I'm sure a sound like that isn't good for my heart. Not to mention, everything sounds about a million times louder with how silent it is. It came from inside the room, and I sidled up to Shizune to get a look inside. What the? Can you stop throwing your pencil, please? How do you even throw a pencil that loudly? He looks very flustered. What an understatement. I sympathize with Mudo. I was able to hear Misha's pen break the sound barrier even though a wall and a thick classroom door. It probably blew out his eardrums and left an imprint on the wall. I'm not throwing it. When I get nervous, I like to spin it around, but then I forget I'm holding onto it and... That doesn't matter. Either way, there shouldn't be pencils flying around. I get enough of that during regular school hours. I don't need it after hours. But right, sorry. Whatever, just stop throwing or releasing or dropping things, please. Teachers have work too. I know Shizune watching the same scene I am. Mudo is yelling at the top of his lungs, and Misha is being Misha. You can hear them reasonably well through the door, but Shizune obviously can't hear anything at all. So I wonder what watching this is like for her. She must know, since she understands well enough to want me to see it too, but I have to wonder if she ever feels like she's missing out on something, having to work that much harder to understand what she's absorbing. Looks like she's taking supplementary lessons, is she? Yeah. I answer despite knowing the question is completely rhetorical. Misha told me she really wants to be a sign language teacher in the future. If she can get a recommendation, she can study overseas for it. That is why she's working so hard. Her grades were always kind of on the low side. Now I feel guilty. I haven't even thought about what I'm going to do yet. Neither have I. The cheerful way she signs it is very unlike her, and is very obviously fake. Let's get out of here. We don't want to be seen. It would be a problem if we were caught standing out here like idiots. Where? The student council room? Shaking her head, she slips into the classroom across the hall instead. Great hiding place. You're usually sarcastic. Lately, what's with the door closed is a good one. Anyway, wasn't it interesting? Yes, but I'm not really surprised. I close the door behind us, prompting Shizune to laugh soundlessly as she slides into a chair. For a second, it depresses me. I want to hear her real laugh. I was been looking down on Misha. I didn't think she had a goal at all, but it turns out that I was wrong. I made a careless assumption. I thought Misha was as aimless as I was. I was stupid. I lost. Shizune pauses to crack her knuckles, then folds her hands over each other and leans forward in her chair. In an abnormal quiet of the building, you can hear Muto yelling at Misha again, even across the hallway and through the two doors. Shizune's eyes are locked on mine. I'm blinking behind the gleaming lenses of her glasses, observing my reactions to her words. This is a test. Her opinion of people is rarely formed from how they respond to questions. It's how they respond to statements that count. In hindsight, it makes sense. Shizune's inability to speak, as well as just her personality in general, means that anything she says is a big commitment on her part. Everything. For that reason, I sometimes doubt that she says anything without a hidden agenda behind it. That sounds remarkably paranoid. Even Kenji would think so. Unfortunately, I'm so caught up in thinking about it that I forgot to give her an answer. She sees as there not being one. There's an invisible time limit to the test, shorter than usual. Just as I thought. What do you mean? You don't agree? Not really, it's not that... It's not that, I just don't get it. I want to force my will on people. How refreshingly honest! Don't give me a weird look like that. It's not like that was always my intention. At first, I was just bored. I wanted to see people's passion for something. then I could try and beat them. I wanted to test their abilities or their convictions. But it was impossible. No one has any passion for anything in this school. They just want to keep to themselves. I can't believe it. It's too boring that way. I thought that there was a way that these job people could be for real. It goes beyond not wanting to make waves. They had to have some interest. They had to be hiding something. I want to expose it and reveal it and check it out. One of the most successful ways to get people to open up to you and cheer them on is to open up with a story about yourself, and then you ease them into telling you about themselves. It's like give and take, or with an element of manipulation, which makes it interesting. I can't do that. If I attempt to have Misha talk about me, for me, it makes me seem arrogant. The message has to go through a messenger. I'm standing next to Misha, telling her to tell someone about me. You don't have to be able to be sign language to see that. If I were forced to sit through that, I would think I was arrogant too. I was frustrated. I couldn't figure out a way to have a conversation with anyone but Misha. No one would open up to me. I came to the conclusion that I can't make people confide in me or believe in me. I can only hope to create things and show them to people, and hope they make them happy. Or I could be more forceful and hope it will eventually stick to someone. I guess that would be me. Feels vaguely depressing. Somewhere along the lines, I think I started to ignore Misha, or see her as less of a person, or something like that. I took her for granted. I think would be the best way to put it. It was like she was just an extension of myself. I forgot that the whole time. Misha was there, opening up to me and giving me 100% every day. I missed what I was looking for because it was in plain sight. How stupid of me. I really did become arrogant. That's why I lost. I'm more short-sighted than I was back then. I went in reverse. She's pacing back and forth now, almost brooding. It's still filled with so much energy that she can't stand and stop moving. If you got her to hold two wires, I'm sure Shizune could power a light bulb. It's odd that I could have such a light-hearted thought while she's being so serious. And in spite of that, Misha tells me that I'm her inspiration. Isn't that ridiculous? I'm not the kind of person who can inspire others. Even if a person who inspires you is flawed, it can be acceptable. I thought about this, even in acceptable hypocrisy. For example, if a hero is an athlete but unsportsmanlike, they can still be respected for their athletic ability, even if they had shortcomings as a person. However, she snaps her fingers briskly. It sounds like a thunderclap in the empty room, and Shizune takes a few seconds to stretch her fingers. Come to think of it, this is the most she has ever signed. If someone like me has no goals, it would be totally unacceptable. It would be the worst kind of hypocrisy, and hypocrites don't deserve responsibility over anything. They can't even manage themselves. I'm incredibly pessimistic. It makes me angry to think about it. I would hate myself just a few months ago. This must be how I look to others. And funnily enough, it was Shizune and Misha who convinced me to stop. Without them, I'm sure things would be much different, and not for the better. Lately, I feel as though we pass around our miseries as much as we're supported by each other, but I think it just came off with the territory of having friends and being close to someone. You're the leader anyway. That's only because no one else wants to be. But that means you still are. It says people are putting their trust in you anyway. In fact, doesn't that make it more important? Either way, you are the leader. You are the inspirational figure, or whatever you want to call it. You're responsible for what you attain. I read that in a book somewhere. That's clever. Shizune only seems to show what she's feeling on her face when she wants to, but I don't think she's being sarcastic. I don't want to tame anyone though. Being the leader and being looked up to, then. Same thing. I never wanted to be the leader, just ended up this way. I don't believe that. All you do is try to grab more and more responsibility. Wait, I wasn't going to tell you that I don't enjoy it. I don't care about being the leader, but I don't mind. I don't care about being the best, but I don't mind. You're right, though, about me wanting responsibility. Of course I want more responsibility. Having responsibility makes me feel alive. That's why I enjoy the student council. If there's no pressure, I just can't take it. Even so, now I'm the leader. I thought being the leader meant you gave orders, but it really is more. It's about having a goal. If you don't have a goal, then it's pointless. People would only be following me for my own enjoyment. It would be selfish. It was a strangely moral viewpoint for a person who seems to love one-upping others so much. Resting her chin on her attentive fingers, Shizune looks disarmingly childish as she thinks hard about her problems. The expression on her face is a little comical, because it's too obvious, and therefore very unlike her. It comes with a job. I think you have to be a leader. You wouldn't be satisfied with anything else. You would just get bored. Shizune doesn't reply, but for more annoyed expression, I think I guessed correctly. I've been thinking that I need a little direction too. Are you sure that it's important to contribute to society? What an unusual response. It's so out of nowhere that I don't know where to respond. And it also bothers me though. I don't know why. Possibly because it doesn't seem like something that would come from her. So start thinking that it isn't Shizune's thoughts at all. I wonder who told her that. Well, it was probably her dad, but there's a chance that she came up with it on her own. If so, would it be because she can't heal? Why do you say that? Just because. I don't believe it. I guess that's right though. I see. I don't know if it's the same for me. I hate it. I think everyone wants a purpose. Looking back, it makes sense that Shizune doesn't have one. All that energy would otherwise have been directed at something. Since she has nothing to channel it towards, Shizune lashed out in all directions. Reminds me of a downed power line flailing in the storm. Furious in incandescent, but aimless and dangerous, just like Shizune. I want to say that this is why she feels the need to turn everything into a competition, but that's probably just how she is. Having a goal to put that energy towards is just the next level. How about this? I could go into business. My family's well connected, so it shouldn't be too hard. That comes off sounding a little unethical and nepotistic, doesn't it? A little. I won't coast though. I'll work hard until I'm at my very apex. When I have as much money as possible, so much that it'll be like I won't know what to do with, I'll move on to the next step. I'm just sitting on it for a while, of course, like a fairy tale dragon. You want to be a philanthropist? Philanthropist? Tisk, what were you thinking? That I want to be a miser? Well, it's true. It is part of a plan. Don't sell me short and stop there, though. Still looks uneasy, of course. Even if she did seem to resolve her problem quickly, no one could get over their anxieties that fast. No one can solve their problems that easily. The important thing is, it looks as though she has her heart set on trying. It's still hard to tell whether that drive of hers comes from a good or bad place. But she has something to hold on to now. I can genuinely believe that she does. I'm happy for her. And at the same time, I feel a little cold. I'm the one who's behind. Now I'm the only one without a goal. That's gonna be all for this time. This is Resonic the Jug Gamer. I hope you enjoyed the series so far. And hope to see all you guys again next time. See you guys then.